This is the story of a young man named Ethan. Growing up in a small town, Ethan dreamed of greatness. Every single day, he'd watch motivational videos, read stories of incredibly successful people, and promise himself, tomorrow I'll change everything. And for a moment, his heart would race with excitement. His mind truly believed he could conquer the world. But just a couple of days later, the old habits would sneak back in. The excuses would start piling up. Frustration would follow, and he'd be right back where he started. Then there was Ben, his childhood friend. Unlike Ethan, Ben wasn't flashy or loud. He just woke up early, followed a simple routine, studied consistently, and improved steadily day after day. Ethan was completely baffled. "How do you do it?" he finally asked. Ben just smiled. "I don't rely on motivation," he said. "I trust discipline." Those words sounded simple, but they carried a weight that Ethan couldn't yet understand. The very next morning, before the sun even rose, Ben took him down to the riverside to meet an old fisherman. What Ethan was about to see would change his understanding of success forever. The fisherman sat there quietly, his hands rough and weathered, his eyes calm and focused on the water. Ben turned to Ethan and said, "This man taught me more than any motivational video ever could." Ethan watched as the fisherman cast his net into the river. It didn't matter if it was raining, shining, or freezing cold. Some days, he caught a boatload of fish. Other days, he caught absolutely nothing. Yet, he came back every single day, without fail. "Is it because you love fishing so much?" Ethan asked. The old fisherman chuckled. "No, son. Love for something fades. Feelings come and go. Discipline stays. This is about responsibility." He explained that motivation is like a spark. It's bright for a moment, but then it's gone. Discipline, on the other hand, is a slow-burning fire that keeps you going, even when no one is watching. Then he pointed to a tall bamboo tree nearby. "A farmer once planted this seed," he said. "Every day he came and watered it. Years passed, and nothing happened. People in his village laughed at him, called him foolish, but he never stopped. Do you know why? Because growth isn't always visible above the ground. It happens in the roots first, deep down where no one can see it." Ethan felt a strange weight in his chest. This wasn't a lesson in motivation. It was a profound lesson in persistence. And he knew that the next day, he would face his first real test of discipline. The next morning, Ethan's alarm clock screamed before sunrise. His very first thought was, just skip today. You can always start tomorrow. The old, comfortable voice of excuses whispered to him. But then he remembered the fisherman's words, the slow fire, the roots growing underground. He forced himself out of bed, not because he felt like it, not because he was motivated, but because he had made a promise to himself. Ben was waiting outside, calm, quiet. There was no cheerleading, no hype, just his silent presence, which was more powerful than any motivational speech. They began their new routine, 1 hour of focused study, no music, no phone, no distracting videos. Every single minute, Ethan's mind rebelled. He felt restless, irritated, and completely exhausted. When the hour finally ended, he expected to feel a surge of pride, but nothing came, only relief. "This feels pointless," he thought. But that's the thing about discipline. It doesn't reward you instantly. It grows silently in the background. Day after day, Ethan repeated this process. The first week was pure torture. The second week was slightly easier. By the third week, he started noticing small victories. He was solving problems a little faster, and a quiet confidence was beginning to form. But then temptation hit. A motivational video popped up on his phone feed. It had loud music, big promises, and the lure of instant energy. He clicked it. 10 minutes later, as the video ended, he realized something crucial. That fleeting rush of motivation could never replace the simple act of doing the work. The weeks turned into a month, and Ethan's routine became a silent battle. No one noticed his efforts. No one praised him. He just studied, followed his schedule, and improved slowly, almost imperceptibly. Then one morning, disaster struck. He overslept and missed his routine entirely. Guilt hit him like a hammer. This just proves I can't stay disciplined, he thought. The old voice of doubt returned, whispering, just give up. You can always start fresh tomorrow. But then Ethan remembered the bamboo tree, the years of unseen growth. He realized that a single missed day wouldn't undo all the work he had put in. So, he adjusted. He studied later that day. It wasn't a perfect session. It wasn't heroic, but it was honest. And that small decision became a massive turning point. He finally understood that discipline wasn't about feeling motivated all the time. It was about showing up, even when and especially when you don't want to. By the end of that month, subtle changes began to emerge. Tasks that once felt overwhelming now felt manageable. Decisions that used to paralyze him became clearer. The voice of his excuses grew weaker and weaker. On the outside, Ethan's life wasn't dramatically different yet. But something deep inside him had changed forever. And the real transformation, the kind that surprises even yourself, was still on its way. Months went by. Ethan wasn't rich. He wasn't famous. He hadn't achieved anything spectacular that the world would celebrate. But something invisible had taken root and was growing stronger every day. His emotions no longer dictated his actions. Instead, his actions were beginning to shape his emotions. One day, a friend came up to him and asked, "How do you stay so motivated every single day?" Ethan almost laughed. He finally knew the truth. Motivation had almost nothing to do with it. "I don't," he said calmly. His friend looked at him, completely shocked. But this was the key that nobody ever teaches you. Discipline isn't flashy. It doesn't give you instant happiness or a rush of good feelings. It quietly builds strength, character, and results that actually last. Ethan now woke up with a purpose. It wasn't a feeling. It wasn't a burst of energy. It was a routine, a commitment, an unshakable trust in the process. And that trust, that slow, quiet underground growth, was exactly what allowed the bamboo tree to finally shoot up so fast, so unexpectedly. The final lesson was near, and it was about to redefine everything Ethan, and maybe you, thought about success. The day finally came when Ethan's effort revealed itself. It didn't happen in a viral success story or with a round of applause. It showed up in results that truly mattered. Problems that once completely overwhelmed him were now solved calmly and methodically. Decisions that used to terrify him now felt natural. His confidence had grown silently, unnoticed by the world, but it was unmistakable to him. He remembered the old fisherman, the river, and the bamboo tree. Years of unseen work. Roots growing quietly underground. Then, one day, everything changed. Ethan smiled to himself. Not because he had arrived or reached some final destination, but because he had learned the ultimate truth. Discipline beats motivation every single time. Motivation is the spark, but discipline is the fire that sustains you. It builds the habits, the character, and the results that no fleeting feeling ever could. And what's the final secret? Discipline works for anyone. Anyone who is willing to show up again and again, even when it hurts. Even when it's boring. And especially when no one is watching. Ethan had finally learned that lesson. And now, so can you. Thanks for watching. If this story resonated with you, don't forget to like and subscribe for more content to help you build a life of purpose. See you in the next one.